Dear students, welcome to our class on Micrometeorology of Crops, Photosynthesis 2. In Micrometeorology, we are interested finally in how the photosynthetes are stored in the organs of the plants which have got economic value. So, as micrometeorologists, we are interested in all the crop physiological processes that are occurring in the plants, which would finally help in trapping CO2, okay, with the help of whatever carbon dioxide available in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide is available in the atmosphere. That carbon dioxide, as micrometeorologists, because we see photosynthesis from micrometeorology point of view, it is our duty to respond to the needs of the farmers. So finally, carbon dioxide is available in the atmosphere. We should try to reduce the resistance of stomata for its diffusion. Fick's law of diffusion. That is why we studied Fick's law of diffusion. Now, we should reduce the resistance of stomata for entry of CO2. Number one, after the entry of CO2, what is happening? Light is falling on the crops. Around 5% of the light is trapped, okay, in the chlorophyll and also other pigments of the leaves, okay, but more in case of leaves. So, carbon dioxide is reduced due to carbohydrates. In other words, the light energy is converted into chemical energy. That is the primary products, what we call as the sugars. Primary sugars are produced. Now here I would like to discuss with you today something about the respiration, something about what are the under what conditions the photosynthesis is less, and similarly what are the responses of C3 and C4 plants with reference to photosynthesis. Why we are interested in the response of C3 and C4 crops is for one reason that rice and wheat are C3 plants. Okay, maize, that is corn. Okay, maize, corn and sorghum, C4 plants. Now, see, in the climate change is one of the issues that agrometeorologists shall address. Here, C3 and C4 plants have certain basic characteristics with reference to response to photosynthesis. Okay, response to photosynthesis. So those things also we try to understand. Here, first, what is of course, see here in the globe, most of the food production is from these crops: rice, wheat, maize. It is our fortunate that C3 rice and wheat, how they are responding. C4, how they are responding in case of maize. Globally, these are the three major food security crops. So those things only we study in the next 4 to 5 minutes to follow. Just for your academic interest, some bits also I would like to say. Otherwise, because you are all the students, finally you have to get some good marks. So those students who are from non-biology background, it would be more helpful to him or to her. So to my beloved students, please note that respiration in the plants. In the plants, respiration is a oxidation process. That means the energy that is stored by the crop plant during the photosynthesis, okay, something is spent both during the day and night, 24 hours, all through the crop life. That's what we call as the respiration needs of the crop. Where does that energy come from? That energy comes again from photosynthetes only, which were produced during the process of photosynthesis. Now, see, plant growth depends upon Okay, the excess of dry matter. Plant growth depends on excess of dry matter increase over the loss by the respiration. Today this much of photosynthetes are produced. Okay, what is the net photosynthetes that are accumulated in the crop are gross photosynthesis minus the oxidation of photosynthetes which are used in the respiration. So that's what we call it as the net photosynthesis. The end products are net photosynthetes. Photosynthesis takes place mainly in the leaves during the daytime, except in case of CAM, crystallization acid metabolism. In CAM plants, little of photosynthesis takes place only during the night time. Otherwise, both in the C3 and C4 plants, the photosynthesis takes place during the daytime. Now, so in the process of respiration, the plants burn up the material to do the work. What is the photosynthesis? Energy is there. Before that, carbon dioxide is there. Along with that, water is there. Carbon dioxide, water, energy is converted into carbohydrates, and oxygen is released during the photosynthesis. Exactly, reverse will happen in the case of the respiration. What is it? CH2O, that is the energy that is available. CH2O, okay, plus respiration. Oxygen is taken. What we are getting out is simple equation: CO2 plus H2O, CO2 plus H2O plus energy. Okay, energy. This is simple. This is the respiration process. The respiration rates increase with the temperature. JRF exam, this bit will come. Respiration, okay, rates increase with temperature in the crop plant. That is what an extremely low light intensity is. Like in a forest, if you go to a forest, a grass is there which is entirely covered by the forest canopy there. The net photosynthesis may be negative sometimes. So, at a high night temperature, okay, usually a high night temperature, which is a consequence of climate change. Again, I would like to impress upon you, a high night temperature increases the respiration, thereby the oxidation. So the carbohydrates are consumed. So it is the responsibility of we, the agrometeorologists and micrometeorologists, how to modify the microclimate so that nighttime temperature at the micro level is not increased. This is an interesting thing for our field experiments of students at PG and PhD levels. Another interesting is in general, the net photosynthesis of cereals is positively correlated. Net photosynthesis of cereals is positively correlated with daily maximum temperature, but negatively correlated with night temperature. So this line, okay, positively correlated with the daytime temperature of maximum, negatively correlated with the night temperature. This particular scientific finding helps the crop growth modelers to evaluate the C3, C4 plants, rice and wheat, C3 and maize, sorghum, of course, sugarcane. Okay, these are all the C4 plants. Now here, another important thing is, I told several times, this bit will come. Again, those students who have come from non-biological background in agriculture patrol, please note that sunlight is falling, 0.4 to 0.7 microns, only approximately 5% is utilized. Now, what is happening to other wavelengths that are falling? What happens is, the leaves absorb the pigments of chlorophyll absorb, but they dissipate, or sometimes in the short wave range they reflect first. They try to reflect first. Then what will re-radiate? After absorbing, they re-radiate it. That is how the plant tries to protect itself from the high temperatures. Now, I would like to say very interesting things. Photosynthesis is reduced by 2 to 3 important under 2 to 3 important situations. One, when virus attack is there on the plant, when virus attack, and as the age of the plant grows, okay, as the age of the plant grows, so the photosynthesis won't form that much. So these are the situations in which the photosynthesis is reduced. Again, very interesting thing with reference to climate change, as we agrometeorologists must know, is there are three processes of carbon fixation by the crops. C3 cycle, okay, 3 atoms of carbon, okay, it's short. C3 plants like rice, wheat, okay, these plants have some limitations with reference to, even though light intensities are more, the photosynthesis reaches saturation at a minimum, at certain level. Whereas in case of C4 plants like sorghum and maize, that is corn, as light intensity increases, the C4 plants, there the 4-atom carbon is fixed, okay, in the pigments, with other in the chlorophyll, with the aid of other pigments. Light is converted into chemical energy. Light is converted to chemical energy by C4 plants like maize and sorghum. Here, C4 plants respond very well to the high light intensity. This is what is taking home a point for agrometeorologists with reference to micrometeorology is concerned. Another few things that I would like to share in this class are, C3 plants like, of course, rice and wheat store the carbon obtained from the air in molecules with 3 carbon atoms and generally have intermediate rates of photosynthesis. Okay, now the C4 plants, for example, C4 plants like maize and sorghum trap atmospheric carbon in 4 carbon molecules, which are efficiently used in synthesizing the primary sugars. These plants have high rates of photosynthesis. Which one? C4 plants have high rates of photosynthesis as compared to C3 plants. Very good. This is another thing. Of course, camp plants, I told, they are grown in the dry climates. Very little photosynthesis takes place. Carbon dioxide is taken during the night time. That's what. Okay. Another very interesting statement I would like to give you last 1 or 2 minutes of the class. The grass please write this point. The grass photosynthesis of a leaf. The grass photosynthesis of a leaf, for example, may be equated to the flux of CO2 into the leaf from the atmosphere. Flux of CO2, okay, entering into the leaf from the atmosphere, CO2. Similarly, the way in which water flux enters, see the way in which water flux make an entry into the plant pots, the CO2 flux also can be equated. So that's what I told in the beginning of the class. The take home in this class is that our responsibility is to ensure that stomatal resistance by the leaves of either C3, C4 or camp plant, crassulacean, acid metabolism plants, whatever it may be. Our responsibility as the micrometeorologist take home in this class application is that we must reduce the resistance of the leaf, particularly stomata, for entry of CO2. This is the take home, and this way our class is really useful more to those students who have come from biological non-biological background. So that much is enough as far as our photosynthesis. In photosynthesis 3, 4, 5, we try to understand some things like this which are really useful for our micrometeorological studies and research. Thanking you for your very patient hearing.